8:42, Radio Wammo Breakfast.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Sailing the high seas of movie trailers.
It's Trailer Sailor with Lyndon Puffin.
Let's make another one.
Coming out of Chess Records at number 50 with a bullet.
Dick says you're my next headliner.
Why are you doing this for me, Mr. Chess?
I'm betting you'll make it.
Because you're a good man, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm a saint.
Does this music make you feel good, Leonard?
It makes me feel good, bad, it doesn't matter. It makes me feel.
You gotta hear this guy. This is something everyone's gonna buy. What did Dick say?
Hey, Dance, you got a hit.
It makes me feel back sailing the high seas. Movie trailers, the dangerous high seas. Lyndon Puffin, g'day there, Lyndon. How you doing?
Morning. Chuck Berry, man, and Bo Diddley and Willie Dixon and Buddy Guy and Howlin' Wolf and Etta James and John Lee Hooker and Muddy Waters, amongst many, man. They all recorded and released on the legendary Chess Records label, you know. So Who Do You Love is a biopic film about the Chess Records founder Leonard Chess. He was the one that said, "'Cause it makes me feel." Now, while he wasn't a musician himself, Chess recognised the quality and passion abound in the Chicago blues scene of the 1940s, and he started a seminal nightclub called the Macomba, which you know, people thought wouldn't work. You know, they thought, nah, the blues scene, you know, no one really. It's underground. No one wants to know about that. Not on a bigger sense, but the club went off, and so he expanded out the back of the club to start recording some of these artists that were coming through. You know, the Willie Dixon and Bo Diddley and stuff, and he starts recording them and releasing these records, and everyone's like, "Nah, that'll never work. That'll never work." You know, and let alone internationally. You know, but it did, of course. It took off. Chess Records, you know, went international. Blues suddenly had a mainstream appeal. He believed and he backed and he pushed it. This guy, Leonard Chess, he's the inspiration. The music that come off his label is the inspiration for the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, the White Stripes, and a whole generation of us. You know, he helped bring rock and roll to the world. And Who Do You Love is a film about Leonard Chess and about that journey, you know. It's been in production, actually, for a long time because it's been made on a very small budget. There's no big-name actors to get in there and distract from the story. But don't let that put you off, Whams. It looks like it's going to be great. It's released stateside next month. Who Do You Love? I give it 4 out of 5. The story of Chess Records. Bring it on. 4 out of 5.
My name's Remy. That's my best friend, Jake. We grew up together, and now we work together.
Yeah, job's a job.
And what do you think keeps a world together? It's rules. It's people abiding by the terms of the deals that they sign themselves.
How's your pancreas holding up?
I sent the money in this morning.
We're always gonna be Repo.
From the RS?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, we're always going to be Repo.
No, your credit history.
All right, Whams. Repo Men. Now, I'd heard about it and I'd seen the trailer up, but it'd been there for a couple of weeks, but I'd avoided it because it appeared to have in the little thumbnail picture you get on with trailer sites, appeared to be The Rock. And whenever I see The Rock or Dwayne Johnson, I just sort of move along, sort of next please. But then, hang on, I look close to the other. I look close, like, what? Isn't that Forrest Whitaker in the background there? I'm a big Forrest Whitaker fan. Actually, that's not Dwayne The Rock Johnson, that's Jude Law, which is, you know, like only a step sideways slightly. But anyway, I thought I'll have another look at it. I'll have another look at Repo Men. Now, Repo Men, great premise, set in the future. Large company makes artificial organs for human transplants, right? So a liver costs something like $750,000, but it saves lives. The only catch is if you can't pay that money back, then they send out the Repo Men who come and take the organ back from your body, which usually results in you dying. You know, so, you know, cue kind of apocalyptic sort of like sports metal at this point. Yeah. Now, it's all going famously, and Jude Law and Forrest Whitaker, they're Repo Men, they're mates, they go way back, they grew up together and everything like that, until on the job, Remy, Jude Law's character, Remy, has an heart attack himself, and they, because he's their best man, you know, they put a new heart in him, and he wakes up and he realises, oh no, now I've got the product in me, but I actually can't afford to pay it back. Now, you'd think they'd give him a free one. He's their best man. But no, now his partner of right through his life is out to get his heart back off him, and now it's switched around, and Remy's now fighting for the good guys against the big bad company that's after him, and, you know, more apocalyptic sports rock, and we sit back and watch the video game unfold. It's all in the trailer. It's all about a great poster, and it has a great poster, awesome soundtrack and that. But my guess is this movie will be complete and utter arse. Yeah, just sheer unadulterated rubbish. It's a great premise. You only need to watch the trailer, but watch it 2 or 3 times. The first time I'm like, awesome. And the second time I was like, not so awesome. And by the third time I was like, oh, this is just shandy. Small countries could be leveraged from debt for what this movie cost to make. So why the hell am I bothering to review it then? Just so I can slag it off, you know? No, it's because it has such great marketing, and if you don't get round to seeing that trailer like I nearly didn't because it looked like Dwayne Johnson, you might think, oh yeah, I'll go along and watch Repo Man, bit of a shoot 'em up. And then you'll come out hating yourself, and you'd wish that someone had warned you that you won't get that 90 minutes of your life back, all that money. So this is actually a public service announcement. Avoid Repo Man. It is the only repo that's going to happen is the money that you spend on the movie. So I give it 1 out of 5 simply because of the poster. You were warned, Repo Man, rubbish. There you go.
In my mind, I already decided that I'm going to America. Yeah.
Right, okay. Now, taking a leap of faith away from the billion-dollar budget of Repo Man to an independent dance film, that's what that soundtrack was we're listening to there, called Dancing Across Borders. Now, this is a triumphant real-life documentary of a Cambodian guy called Sok Vanara Sa. He's a young man, an amateur dancer discovered by an American woman, Ann Bass, while she's visiting his home country and watching, some of the local amateur dance. And she's a long-term patron of the arts in the New York dance scene, and so she convinces Sok Vanara to go to the States, and she will sponsor him to attend the prestigious School of American Ballet, which sounds like a script, except that it is, of course, faux real. Now, the documentary follows his journey to the States and his rise through the dance world, his incredibly quick rise through the dance world, and his adaptation to American culture, which, would be interesting in itself, except that it's his dancing. There's the reason why I'm doing this this review for, because his dancing, honestly, it grabbed my attention. It is incredible. And I've had the opportunity of watching some contemporary dance because it's what my brother does. So, maybe I'm a bit biased. He's a modern dancer who travels around the world, so I've been exposed to some dance. But, man, this guy moves incredibly. Maybe it's just blind luck that he was discovered there in Cambodia, but this is kind of like Billy Elliot for real, or Fame. The movie Fame for real. Problem is, it probably isn't going to win an Academy Award or have a $50 million worldwide media budgeting campaign. So, hear me now. Dancing Across Borders is for real. It looks absolutely beautiful, and as much as it's an independent film from First Run Features, have done some fantastic stuff, and is probably a little slower on the budget side of things than Repo Man, be far, far more worth your money. Now I'm giving it 4 out of 5. Repo Man, Dancing Across Borders. Yeah. It just looks beautiful, looks really good. But, before I sail away into the sunset of tropical trailers, it was brought to my attention last week, and we love getting feedback. It was brought to my attention that I may have been a little bit harsh about some of the comments I made about a film called A Human Experience last week's review. That was the one where 2 brothers travelled around the world in search of answers to life's bigger questions. And I just thought I would have been all hippied out. I'd been at WOMAD, so I was probably feeling pretty cynical. I made some comment about how I feel uncomfortable whenever I see a couple of white rich boys holding up a starving black African child and crying, and someone pointed out, look, they're not 2 rich white boys in the film. They're in fact a couple of young Lebanese Spanish men. They are from Brooklyn and New York, but they'd had it pretty tough growing up in homes and stuff, and they'd been sponsored to go on this journey, which I thought, well, fuck, oh, hang on a second, maybe I did sound a bit like Paul Henry. So I decided, yeah, I'm sorry, I should have done a bit more research. I don't want to sound like that.
That's the perils of sailing the dangerous high seas of movie trailers.
It is. You don't know where the bad weather's coming from, so you know. So it looked like a night, just looked like a little storm. Turned out to be Repo Men. The movie Human Experience, I still think it looks like a bit like a big pile of rubbish. But those two guys, I was too harsh on them. So I will attempt to tack away next time I come to the same place. Sorry to that. Love getting the feedback though. Let us know what you think of these reviews. They are well researched and thought out. After all, Trailer Sailor just doesn't get up in the morning and ramble into his computer. So.
Make a comment below the YouTube video. All right, let's go out on Dancing Cross Borders. See you all.
Yes, Dance Cross Borders. See you next week.
The dream can come true.
It really was quite remarkable. I would have said it's a 1 in 1,000 chance that this could work. And I think we found that one.